Well played, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Sean Levy. Well freaking played. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. This will be one of my first film reviews I've done in a very, very long time because films have been very hit and miss lately. So, at the time of recording this, Deadpool and Wolverine was out this weekend. The third Deadpool film, probably my most anticipated film in a long, long time. And it was kind of the one that was gonna decide whether I stuck with Marvel or not, because let's face it, in recent years they've not been as good, Marvel. I said since Endgame I struggled to find that magic again, trying to recatch that lightning in a bottle. We've had a few great projects. Obviously Spider-Man No Way Home, I really enjoyed that one. Loki, I think, has been really good, but I don't think it's harsh for me to say, but the multiverse saga I don't think's really worked, if I'm being honest, because obviously there's been a lot of films that have come out since No Way Home, and it's just, I don't know, for me it's there's been a lack of consistency. So Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously I've wanted this film for basically since the first X-Men film, so nearly 24 years I've been wanting to see these two characters team up. So it's finally come out, and oh man, it's blew my brain. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be a non-spoiler. I'm not talking any spoilers in this video, so this will be a safe video for you to watch. It'll just be my initial reaction, what I thought about it, and then in a week or two I'm going to film a spoiler review, because obviously it's still, new, and I don't want people to watch my video and then I ruin it for them. So yeah, this will be completely spoiler free. I won't be mentioning anything like plots or anything like that. So this will be a place you can watch it just to see what I thought about it. So yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. Where do I start? Holy crap. All I'll say, it lived up to the hype, and man did it deliver. It absolutely stuck the landing. I'm really surprised actually, because there's stuff in this film I'm like, Disney signed off on that? But to be honest, I think they had to. I think they had to take a bit of a gamble with this, because if you're going to do Deadpool and Wolverine, it had to be R-rated for a start, and you have to let Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have the freedom to do what they did, because this wouldn't have worked as like a 12, or if you're American, like a PG-13. It wouldn't have worked like that. It had to be R-rated, gory, violent, dark humour, and it has all of that. And I say from minute one, I was just literally, I was in fits. Like, my side generally hurt after I came out of that film, because the humour in it was so good. Like, it takes jibes at so many things, and I'm like, how did they sign off on this? Like, obviously, as you know, Deadpool knows he's a character from a comic book. He breaks the fourth wall all the time, and this is probably the best use of the fourth wall break, I think, that has been in any Deadpool film or any Marvel project for that matter. Because obviously he continuously refers to like state of the MCU, takes jibes at 20th Century Fox. There's like, he has jibes at DC, like some of the studios. He makes a few jokes towards Kevin Feige, which I was like, that was brilliant. Even about, his previous films, or he makes a joke like, yeah, we know it seems like it's getting too long, but stick with us, we're almost there. So it's like this full awareness of things that happen in the film. And it, mate, honestly, from the opening scene, I will tell you now, the opening scene of this film was perfect. It was the best way to start it. Quite grim, I'll admit. It's gory, but it was the best way to start it. Like, literally from minute one, I went, okay, this is the kind of ride we're going to be in, alright. And I will say, with this film, the use of music is so good. There's songs they use in, I won't say the songs, but the songs that they use, it shouldn't work, but because it's a Deadpool film, it works so well. And the opening song they used for the initial opening of the film, it was just, honestly, it was so good. I was literally laughing the whole time. It's quite, grim in things that Deadpool does in this first opening scene. But then you're like, oh, this is the right run. Okay, that's cool. And I think the only way I can describe it, like with Logan, it felt like sort of a Western film. With Deadpool and Wolverine, I think the only way I can describe it, if it was like a buddy cop sort of film, so like, you get like your Lethal Weapon films, things like that, it feels like that, but it's Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think this is one of the only Marvel films where it's felt like a comic book come to life, if that makes sense. Like, previous films have been great adaptations, but I think with this one, it literally was like you're watching pages of a comic book. It was so comic accurate in so many ways. I mean, the fact that 24 years later we see Hugh Jackman back, but in the yellow and blue suit, and the suit looks so good. Like, I was watching it going, how did we not have this sooner? But then it wouldn't have really worked with the Fox film, so I think this only would have worked in an MCU setting. And I'll tell you, the dynamic between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman is so good. Like, you can imagine the fun those two must have had on set. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds goes in. Like, if you like Ryan Reynolds, you'll love this film, because his humour, like, pretty much the whole way through it sticks, because some of the Marvel jokes could be false, but Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Like, essentially the way he described it, he's Deadpool, and he just goes off on things, and there's just little tangents he goes on. The jokes are so good, and they all stick. And the dynamic between Wolverine and Deadpool throughout the film is great, because, like, you know, Deadpool's the chatty one, and Wolverine's just like, can this guy shut up, please? But those two must have had a blast on the set, and Sean Levy, the director, he's done really well on this, because he's directed things like, you know, he's done Night in the Museum films before, he's done Stranger Things, and it's a massive blockbuster like this, especially for the superhero genre, and he's nailed it so well. Like, the three of them must have had such a great collaboration on it as well, and I think this was the perfect time to do the Deadpool Wolverine team up, because I think it wouldn't have worked up until now, to be honest, because there's been a lot of time since Logan. Obviously it's been, has it been quite 6 years, I think, since Deadpool 2. I can't remember when it came out. Might have been 17, 18. So this was the perfect time. But yeah, the film just takes you on a ride, man. It just takes you for a massive journey. The story is really well done, and I think this is probably the best sort of example and, yeah, best implement of the multiverse, really. Because, like I said, the multiverse saga, it's not really worked for me. It's not really stuck. I think the last good example was Spider-Man No Way Home, but this one does it a lot better. And if all the multiverse stuff was done like this, I think this arc for the MCU would have been different. But yeah, the use of the multiverse works really, really well. Obviously, if you guys know from trailer, the TVA is in it, but it's not what you might think. So that was really cool, just to see how that links from Loki into now as well. I think Loki and Deadpool are probably the only two projects in this multiverse saga I really liked. And then just the way that, you know, Deadpool tries to find a Wolverine, which you find out in the film why he needs to find him. Obviously from the trailer you see the fight scene. I will say though, the best bits were not in the trailer. There's bits in this film that I'm glad wasn't spoilt, because when they happen you're like, oh, okay, and it catches you by surprise. But it's some of the best fight scenes I've seen in a Marvel film, and just the way they go at each other, it's just brilliant. And the dynamic, it, like, as the film progresses, it gets so much better, like, between them. You just see Wolverine just like, shut up, Wade, just like, it's just so good. And I think for me, this is probably my favourite Hugh Jackman portrayal of Wolverine, because it felt like a comic version. I think with the Fox films, it was like a certain vibe, and obviously Hugh Jackman's always smashed it. He is Wolverine. There's only one. Let's just put that out there. But I think where he had the reins in this one, he added something new to the character, and being in the yellow and blue suit, this felt like the comic Wolverine that I fell in love with as a kid, and he just absolutely smashed it. Like, this wouldn't have worked with anyone else. Like, yes, you could have done another Wolverine, but it had to be Hugh Jackman with Ryan Reynolds. So that was just, yeah, those two were brilliant. In terms of cameos, yes, there's a lot of cameos. I won't say who. That'll be in the spoiler review. But what I will say, they all serve a purpose. It's not like, oh, we're going to throw X, Y, and Z in here. Each one of them serves a purpose to the story, which I think was really well done. Because sometimes if there's too many cameos, it can get convoluted. It can be a bit like, was that necessary? But they all serve a purpose to the story, which I think, again, shows that they really thought about the scripts and the story. Because let's face it, when all the speculation for this film was coming out, you were seeing some ridiculous theories of who was going to make cameos, but the way they did it, it served the story, and it wasn't a case of let's throw. I mean, there's one in particular that I kind of thought they might do, and when they did it, it was just brilliant. I love that they did it, and yeah, when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I'm not going to name names because it will ruin it. But yeah, one of them in particular, I was like, okay, and then there was two that come in, and I honestly did not expect that at all. But when they come in, you're like, okay, that was awesome. And again, I didn't expect it either, so that was really sweet. And then obviously the villain, Cassandra Nova, she was really cool in it. Like, I've seen people sort of complaining about her, but at the end of the day, she did a really great job. I loved her. She was kind of like, not menacing, but there was something about the way that she was portrayed. I went, yeah, there's something, yeah, you don't want to be messing with her. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, just seeing like Wolverine and Deadpool trying to go up against her, so that was a really cool dynamic. I think as well with this film, it sort of pays homage to what's come before. Like, it definitely felt like tying up a nice bow on the 20th Century Fox universe for all the superhero stuff before. Because obviously you forget, before the MCU, it started with like Spider-Man, X-Men, Blade. They were kind of like, at the time, the first break into the Marvel live action films. And then obviously the MCU started off in 2008 with Incredible Hulk, and then Iron Man really pushed it to where it is now. So it did feel like a bit of a love letter to that, a love letter to comic books, to the X-Men franchise, obviously to Deadpool. And it was all these things, the way they've done it. And it just tied up a nice bow. Like, if this was the final time we saw Deadpool and Wolverine, the final time we see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, they've gone out of a bang. Because, yeah, just the way everything works in this film, I was like, you know what, if that was the last one, fair play. Because I think the Deadpool trilogy has been pretty spot on, to be honest. Like, 2 was good. It wasn't as good the first one. But for me, I think this is the best Deadpool film. And it only would have worked with bringing Hugh Jackman into it. Because I think originally there was a different idea. And then when Hugh Jackman, I think it was like 2022, I think he contacted Ryan Reynolds, was like, have you done a film? I want in. And obviously they've made it work. And here we are. Like, it's out now. So that's, yeah, there's just so many things like in this film from start to finish. There is like obviously when the credits roll, there's I won't say what, there's a scene with a song that plays, and that got me quite emotional because it was kind of like, yeah, like I said, tying up this bow. There is a post-credit scene. It's not one of the ones where it's like, oh my god, it's setting up this. It's a callback to something that happens in the film, and it was just, it would only work in a Deadpool film. I'll just put it that way. It was so good, and I was laughing. Like, my sides were hurting. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, from start to finish, it was just like a perfect roller coaster. There's not a moment when you thought, oh come on, like I'm bored. Like, I was engaged the whole time. The experience in the cinema was really good because everyone was laughing. Like, there was a few jokes that Deadpool said, and everyone went, oh, and I was like, yeah, you know, they're pushing the envelope when that's an audience reaction. Like, people were cheering. It was great. I have not been in a film experience like that since probably Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. It was kind of that sort of vibe. I think I enjoyed this more than Spider-Man No Way Home, and I love No Way Home. Like, you know, no flaws to it, but because X-Men was the first team of heroes I got into, and, you know, Wolverine's my favourite X-Men, loved Deadpool for many years, I enjoyed it a lot more. And just the way they did it from start to finish, it was just a hit. Like, and I think it's already made something ridiculous, like over 400 million in its first weekend. I think that's like globally. But I reckon it's on the track to do $1 billion. I think it's going to do that well. Obviously, there can be a drop off in like week 2 or 3 of a film being out. But because word of mouth spreading and people are enjoying it, and you're seeing stuff online, I think this is going to do well for them. I mean, there's just so many. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I've not mentioned about. Yeah, there's just initial reaction. I was just like, holy shit. Like, they have smashed it out of the park. And it was one of those film experiences, I think, especially the state of the MCU. I was like, this will be make or break for me. And I'm not saying all is forgiven, but if they carry on like this, I think we might see an uptake in MCU quality. Because I think the idea of it was to reset and say goodbye to a part of the live action Marvel. So it's sort of saying goodbye to the Fox universe. And now going forward, it's anyone's game what's going to happen. Like I said, if this was their last time we saw Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds as Wolverine and Deadpool, then you couldn't have asked for a perfect ending to a trilogy. It was that good. I couldn't praise it enough. Like, I want to go see it again because I feel like there's stuff I might have missed because there's so much that happens, and like, yeah, like the actions of the scene, it's gory. The choice of music's great. The cameos are just, yeah, they're all amazing. The final scene, like the final fight scene, was gory as hell, but again, it works. And yeah, the choice of music just really enhances the experience. Couldn't praise it enough, really. If I was to sum up Deadpool and Wolverine, it's definitely a love letter. I feel like for me, because obviously that first X-Men film, as a fan, it did sort of have a life-changing effect on me. It did change my life, just to show that they can do the X-Men live action. And yeah, obviously there has been hit and miss films, but you know, 24 years later, we see Hugh Jackman don the yellow and blue suit, played the most comic accurate Wolverine, and the guy's 55 and he's still jacked, and like, he put the work in. And yeah, the team up between him and Ryan Reynolds, like, it was just, yeah, I walked away like, yeah, this is the Marvel that I loved growing up with. And it kind of reminded me of like the earlier phases, like 1 to 3. It felt like it could have belonged there because of how well it was done. I can't praise it enough. I will see it again, 100%. I think so far for me, that's my film of the year, easy. It's definitely one of the best Marvel films I've seen in a long time. And yeah, it's interesting to see what they'll do from here. I don't know what will happen from here on out, because obviously, you know, we've got Secret Wars that's coming out. Whether they'll return for it, I don't know. I hope so, because I would love to see like Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds interact with some of the other Marvel heroes. Obviously, we don't know if Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, or Scarlett Johansson are coming back for Secret Wars. That's just there's so many possibilities now, and I just love this film, mate. It's just so good. Rambling on for too long. I probably missed out stuff in this, but yeah, that's my non-spoiler reaction and review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have seen it, let me know, but obviously in the comments, keep it spoiler free, because I don't want people to read the comments on my video and then it ruins it. So save that for my spoiler video, which I'll do in a couple of weeks. Give it some breathing air. But yeah, I'd recommend go seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. It was so worth the long wait. Hype lived up to the hype. It stuck the landing. It delivered on every way possible. And yeah, it was the most comic book accurate film. And it was one of the best experiences I've had in the cinema in a long time. So yeah, that's why I would give that a solid 10 out of 10 for me. There wasn't much I could fault with it. Like, sometimes you nitpick stuff, but I'm like, do you know what? It's done everything it needed to do. It had great cameos. Chemistry between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, as I said, was brilliant. Action was off the scale. And yeah, I think this will be easier film of the summer for people. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and stay tuned for more videos, and I will do the spoiler review in a couple of weeks, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Until then, peace out and have a great day.